Friday the 12th, man. I needed to give you a call. I don't know what the hell is going on, but they're pricing in, I think it was 8 cuts in consecutive order for this year.
Yeah, that's what they say. I thought it was 6, but whatever the number is, yeah.
It's gone to 7 actually in the last 12 hours.
Okay.
7 in a row, starting from what the hell, man?
You got me, bro. I mean, the only thing I can say about it is something that I tweeted yesterday, which was that I was like sitting there listening to the talking heads on TV,
which you should never do.
I think you should always do
if you want to fade. Yeah, well, Dan, your boy.
You want to get a view of consensus and all that. And I swear, 5 people got on one after the other and said, "I think Wall Street's pricing in too much easing." Every single one of them did. I think Wall Street's pricing in too much easing, which is what you're telling me now too, and which is what I would tell you as well. You know. So what does that tell us, man?
Oh no, you're gonna tell me to fade that and that it will happen. Oh no.
I'm not saying it will happen, but I'm saying that bonds are going up every fucking day. You know, I mean,
if they do 7 cuts back to back from March onward, that
2 years are on year highs, right? Despite the fact that everybody knows they're pricing in too many cuts.
What's the 2-year at right now? 5 point something.
Yeah, I don't know the number. I'm just looking at the chart of the 2-year future. They're on year high right here.
I think a trade.
So if everybody knows they're fucking pricing in too many, then why are 2 years on highs? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, I have no idea what the Fed's gonna do and all that, but it's just nobody likes that trade, dude. Nobody. So therefore, you know, risk reward wise, you know, I wouldn't be short the 2 years right here.
Well, I was looking at a 2-10 spread for the yield crush on the 10.
Yeah.
Faster than the yield faster than the yield crush on the 2.
Yeah.
I don't think that. Basically.
I think again, can it work? Of course it could work, but I think you're playing a game that everybody is looking to play.
Yeah.
You know,
that's
just because it makes so much sense. Like how could you not want to, you know, play the steepener here? How could you not want to do that? But to me, that's the reason why. It just seems like it's too easy. It can work, but you know, I can't put that fucking trade on because I literally, all anybody comes on television and says, market's pricing in too much. The market's pricing in too much. Okay, so you're implying that you know more than the market, and you're also implying that the 5 people that got in on TV in a row yesterday all know more than the market. So it's not.
Look at this thing. Look at this thing. Look at that thing. The 2-year.
Yeah, I know. Insane. That's what every chart looks like.
Or the 10-year. I mean, the 10-year. I don't know. I don't even want to get into it. But it's not my trade.
Well, there you go.
I don't think it's my trade. I don't think it's my trade. I think it's a trade that it kind of makes sense if you know a little bit, but knowing a little bit is always the most dangerous thing in the world, right?
Probably. I mean, it's not my trade. I know that. So I ain't doing it. I mean, at least this morning we are seeing we're seeing the steepener go on a little bit this morning on a weak PPI, which is the first time we've seen something like that. I was always of the belief that if they're going to cut rates, then the long end's going to get crushed, in particular relative for the short end. And we haven't seen that. As the weak numbers have come out, the long end has gone up more than the short end. But meanwhile, this morning we're getting, you know, it's only freaking 10 after 9 in the morning, but we are getting that trade this morning. So, and we're getting what's supposed to happen with gold, you know, is ripping this morning. Silver is ripping this morning, which is what should happen theoretically if they are really going to be aggressive in cutting rates. Then these metals should rip, right? So at least as of 9:10 this morning, we are doing what we are supposed to do for once.
So you're saying I should have put this trade on at like 1:30 this morning when I was thinking about it because I couldn't sleep.
1:30 is what, 1?
For you?
No, for me, 1:30 is 1. For you, 1:30 is 2:30. I understand. It's a British. It's an English.
No, that would have been your 9 p.m. No.
Yes.
1:30, 2:30. Yeah, okay, I got you. Tomato.
So I'm not saying you should have put it on. I'm just saying everybody seems to want to put that trade on. So that makes me hesitant. If nothing else, there's got to be a different way to do it. Is what I would say. But
you get quite a lot of margin relief though for the 210 spread. I think it's like 64%.
Okay,
relief.
That's gotta be worth something.
Yeah, I think it's nice. I mean, I just don't think I could sleep easy being in that trade.
I couldn't.
No, I don't think I could. Even if
I don't know. I mean, again, my only comment is that I saw so many people get on TV saying that that's the trade that it makes me hesitant. Telling me all these people are going to be right and the market's going to be wrong. I can't trade like that. As far as everything else goes, I'm at a standstill, man. I don't know what to say. My system wants me to be getting short stocks, but the market just doesn't allow me to do do so because it goes up every single day, basically. So
how come I was looking at one of the analysts I follow on oil actually on the net positioning on crude shorts back in like October was like huge. It's huge. It was like I think it was near all-time highs, and I remember you saying it was almost there for you back then.
Yeah, possibly.
But I was surprised that you weren't actually in on that short. I think we were talking about that. I think we were talking about that at the time.
The positioning in the here comes the stock market. It took a little while. Now it's going. The positioning in the RBOB keeps me from wanting to get long energy at all. If I was going to do anything, the only thing I could do is to get long crude and be short RBOB against it, which
so you're kind of in a neutral position there, man.
Seems to be working. Yeah, it's not worth putting on. I mean, it's not my trade either, but that's what I would do if I were to do anything in that area. But
yeah, I mean, you're getting they're building early on inventories for distillates. I will say that the build on the last couple of DOEs have come in pretty high on distillate. So probably seeing a little divergence on those two, crude up, distillates down. Yeah, but it makes sense that they get the distillates in now if they're forecasting more geopolitical risk to come in, right? They want to refine out those distillates earlier at cheaper oil prices rather than later.
Off my head, but I'll take your word for it.
Take my word for it. Well, I just thought, I'll give you a call because I really don't, I can't make sense of these, the market pricing in 7 to 8 rate cuts yesterday, 4 CPIs. I was looking at 8 rate cuts on the trajectory from the CME tool, FedWatch tool, and then it went to 7. It's like 7 consecutive.
No, it's clearly insane.
So they think,
but listen, where's Fed funds right now? 5 1/4?
5 1/4 to 1/2.
Where's inflation?
Yeah. Where is inflation? It's at I think we're at 4, are we?
No.
3.8. I mean, we are at G10 median is 3.
Okay, so 5 1/4, 3. That gives you a real rate of 2.25. So where do you want?
A quarter point target is what you're saying.
Well, I'm saying, what's the target for real rate? 1%? So
is it? I don't know what the target on real is.
Let's just say it's 1%. And that means rates are 125 basis points too high, which is 5 cuts. And that's assuming that inflation stays where it is, right? So let's say inflation goes down by a quarter point. Well, then there you are. Then you're at 6 cuts to get real rates to 1%. That's the only argument. I'm not saying that this is all mantra. I'm just saying that's the only argument I can make.
But isn't the Fed target for real, nominal rates to be 2, not real?
I don't know. Their Fed target for nominal rate is 2. You mean the Fed target for inflation is 2? You mean?
Sorry. Yeah.
I mean, so they've said. Yeah. So they've said. But I think you can make the real rate argument. Is all I'm saying. Real rates are high relative to history. 2 1/4% on real rates is high. So if that's the fact, then you can argue that they can cut, and then you can argue that inflation is going to continue to come down, and then there you go. Then you have 6 rate cuts. That's kind of simple math. And again, I'm not here to say that's what is going on. I'm just here to say that's the argument if you want to make it.
Okay, this is all way above my pay grade anyway. I'm a simple guy, to be honest.
Me too.
I can't keep up with these bond guys. I just see if it's going up or going down.
I can't keep up with anybody, dude. I've made one trade all fucking year. It's January 12th.
We're only 12 days in, man.
I made one trade all year and it lasted me about an hour.
What was it?
I mean, I got short
Nvidia.
I got short Nasdaq on Sunday night, and by Monday morning I was out.
You're fading Nathan too much, man. You're holding on too tight, Maverick. You're holding on too tight.
There's no such thing as fading Nathan too much, but the problem was that Nathan came out with an Nvidia buy, but when you look at his disclosures, which he has to disclose what he actually does, he didn't actually do that.
I thought he was long the 500 calls. No, that's the post you put up with his video, wasn't it? You talking up?
Yeah, but it was a freaking paper trade because it doesn't show up in his disclosure, so he didn't actually put the trade on. He just paper traded it, right? So real money is what you want to fade, right?
Because I was looking at the video you posted of that. I actually think I heard someone talking about before I saw that as well. It might have been you. And sure enough, then like the next session, one of the guys was like, Nvidia up all-time highs.
Yep.
Like, all right.
No, it's a ripper. It's a ripper. It was a fantastic paper trade by Dan Nate. But unfortunately, that's not what he has on. So as far as he goes too, I got to tell you, every single person wants to own energy stocks.
Of course they do, man.
Everybody wants to own energy stocks.
The demise of oil, everyone driving around in, Teslas and wearing shoes made of avocado skins and shit like that. That future will be $200 a barrel WTI. It will not be $30 a barrel WTI.
Okay.
And I don't think people get that. If the reinvestment picture in oil it needs to contract because they're getting slammed with, regulation. They're getting slammed with, just people divesting out of carbon heavy stocks. Well, that means there's less exploration and production investment. If there's less exploration and production, i.e. less supply, what does that do to price?
No, I get it, man. I'm just saying, I think energy stocks are going to underperform this year. So take that as you will. Now, that doesn't mean that they go down because the stock market probably goes up. I just think
it's cheap.
I just think they underperform this year.
I am balls deep long, $16 and $18 calls on Petrobras. It's one of my biggies. They have a nice beefy dividend as well.
Petrobras.
PBR, stick it in the mix.
PBR. Well, last time you gave me a stock, it worked pretty well.
Still waiting on that invoice to get paid, actually.
PBR. Petrobras.
Petrobras.
Petróleo Brasileiro.
That's the one. I like it.
Good. I hope it works for you. I got no problem.
But no, I like oil. Well, I've liked oil stock for a extremely long time. So, I'm in there for the long haul. I'm in there until they have the actual demise on oil.
Until they take you out to the woodshed.
Right, man. Right, yeah. What else is going on?
Nothing, man. I'm searching
for a shave there.
Did you see how bad? This guy I did an interview with told me that I needed to dress up or whatever. So I put on a shirt and I shaved, and literally I had a 2-week beard going, and I usually use these electronic razors and it wasn't working. I must have burned the thing out. So I had to go to the store and buy a regular razor and try to shave that shit off, a 2-week beard, and I just chopped my entire face up. If you look at that video, I chopped my entire face up. I'm not really patient enough to do that shit, but what you do?
Who are you putting on a shirt? Wow.
Yeah.
Shapiro wearing a shirt. I can't wait for that one to come out.
It's out.
Oh, it's out. Wow.
Wealthy on or something. I think, Wealthy on.
Wealthy on.
Yeah.
Oh, there you are wearing a shirt. Yeah, look at that. Oh, your face doesn't look too chopped up, man.
Look again. No, look again. My face is, you have no idea. I got 3 cuts on my chin, and then when I turn my face, you can see on my right cheek, it's completely ripped up.
Yeah, the mic is covering the tip of your chin, so maybe that's helping you.
Yeah. If you watch it long enough, you can see that I'm absolutely wrecked.
You look pretty different with the clean shave, man. There's a bit of a Mark Ruffalo going on there.
More of a Brad Pitt, if you ask me, but whatever.
Yeah, that was the next one in line, obviously. Tell you what, you must have gotten lucky that night, looking so suave. What else going on? I don't know. I think yesterday I'm a little bit bored actually at the moment. We've been waiting for oil to get kicked up here, and obviously we're getting that now. We're up 2.8 today. We're up about 3.5 yesterday. There's a seasonality coming into this. Obviously the Houthis jumping on
the Houthis, man. The Houthis.
Houthis on the blowfish.
Houthis and the blowfish.
What else is going on over there?
I
see the
grains
2 by.
Is really all I'm looking at here. Grains. We got a big grain report today. I'm looking to be long grains. I'm hoping this grain report comes out nice and bearish, and the market fights it off, and I can get long some grain.
Had a pretty warm winter, yeah. So you're looking for a good crop forecast.
I hope so. I'm not looking for it because I couldn't tell you what a crop forecast was to save my life, but hopefully it comes out nice and bearish, and the market fights it off, and then I can get long some of these grains and actually have a freaking trade on for the first time all year.
What's your weapon of choice?
Looking at bean oil, the whole bean complex.
On the legumes, eh?
That's what I'm set up to do. Other than that, just trying my best. The best trade I've made all year is not being short stocks because my system has me wanting to get short stocks, and I have made the decision that I ain't going to listen to my system right now. So that's the best trade I've made all year. People don't get it. It's like, you haven't made any trades all year. I'm like, well, actually, I made a great trade. So I didn't lose money shorting stocks.
Triple all cash portfolio.
I have just grown to hate. I've always hated it, but I hate it even more now. The short stock trade. For me, the short stocks, it takes a real freaking outlier event, man. I just think it's just the worst fucking trade ever invented. They shouldn't even allow people to short the stock market, just as a way of saving them from themselves.
Yeah, that's true. You can't beat the old S&P long. It's not exactly a timeless trade to short the spoos, man.
It's horrible. The best trade has been, people talk about, I shorted them in '08. I made money on the crash. I'm like, yeah, but you would have made more money if you did nothing and just bought the dip.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because if you shorted it, you didn't just short it and cover it and never short it again. You shorted it the entire way up.
Yeah. It's funny, actually, because I have some mentees. I've seen spoos breaking out up here, up 0.3, guys, over a potential resistance area there. But I was talking to some mentees who had made a lot of money in 2020, 2021. And I was like, well, yeah, because the Fed said, were injecting like steroids in the arm there. So like, of course you were just buying and, set and forget, right? But then when things start to get a bit trickier, they just gave it all back.
Yeah.
And I suppose this is why, they talk about, you're not really trading until actually Annie Duke was talking about this with Howard Marks in a podcast I was listening to over the weekend. And she was asked about a poker player and he had a really hot 6 months. And she was asked, what do you think about this guy? He's a pretty good player, isn't he? And she's like, I don't know. And everyone perceives her saying that as being like sour grapes because he was winning everything around him. But she was like, well, really, realistically, you need like 4 years,
at least
to start to assess if someone's like a good poker player or not. Because, can they survive the drawdown? Can they, survive?
Just like trading, anybody can make money for a period of time. It doesn't mean jack, especially if you're just buying and it's a bull market,
Exactly,
that doesn't tell you if you're any good at this.
Something we never talked about really was like having like, periods, and I'd really be interested, what your experience of this is, where, you're trading and you feel like you couldn't even hit the floor if you fell off your chair, you just bombing out. I mean, have you gone through periods like that?
Yeah, I have. Everybody has, to be honest, because I'm not trading like on a discretionary level, you know what I mean? I'm trading a process, so I don't have to deal with that. I trade my process and I believe in my process, and as long as the drawdown, which the process always has, just like anything else, it is within expected range, then it just is what it is. I had 2 kind of periods of drawdown last year. Both were well within sort of the expected range of what it should have been. So, it is what it is. If you think you're going to trade with no drawdowns, you're living in a fantasy world.
Absolutely, man.
But, it's harder when you're a discretionary trader, I think, to know what to do. For me, if my returns suddenly start to really fall outside of expected ranges, well, then I can start to conclude that maybe my process is done, right? Which I wake up every morning assuming that one day that's coming, and hoping that I'm wrong. But I'm monitoring it, and if that's the case, then that's the case. If my process no longer works or something, then I'll have to figure something else out, like where I'm going to lay my bed for retirement is what I would have to figure out at that point, because I'm not going to start over again. I'm too far down the path. But I just believe very much that if my process is not working over long periods of time and having huge drawdowns like that, then that implies that everybody is making money. So I just don't know that how big of a risk is for long periods of time. There's periods of time when people obviously make money, but I guess I just don't believe that it's something that's going to happen for very long periods of time, that everyone is just going to make money all the time. The consensus is just going to make money all the time. I got a hard time believing it.
Yeah, I think it's, from my experience, I think it takes a long time, and from a vantage point of where you might be, what I might consider enough experience of like 4, 5, 6 years, you're still learning, because you get into this comfortable space where you're trading your edge. Discretionary though, but every now and then you might oversize in a trade and you get hit.
No, all that shit. That's why I can't. I don't do it. I can't do it, man. I can't do it.
Yeah, it puts you back. It could put you back 3 months.
No, it does. I can't live with it. I can't do it. I don't think I have the psychological strength to deal with it, man, quite frankly. That whole thing. I really don't. I think I'm too freaking weak, man. I can't come in here every day and then at the end of the day be like, oh shit, I did this wrong, I did that wrong. I have a definition for me of what is right, which is just following my process. So as long as I do that, whether I make or lose on that particular day, at least I know that I did it right. I did what I was supposed to do, right? I can accept the fact that it's not going to make money every day. That's normal, right? And even at this point, if it were to lose money for a longer period of time, I would be pretty fucking upset about it, but I can accept it. It is what it is. It's worked for me a long time. It continues to work for me. And if it stops working, then hey, it stops working. I can accept that. Which sucks.
I think using a discretionary edge is that, I think the thing is that you kind of, if you have a lot of good evidence and good trades against, that prove that edge for you, and then when it just like starts to break down, or you go to a different market with it and try and use the exact same edge and it doesn't work, then you can, maybe get a little stubborn and take some losses, but not really step back and just reconfigure yourself from that like tight, aggressive sort of player you kind of go into loose aggressive. You go into more of a loose aggressive poker stance you know, sometimes when the edge kind of gets, you know, it's not working for you in like a new market or something, you get a bit looser, and then that's when it really starts to hurt, because now you're taking drawdowns that put you back a month, 2 months, 3 months, you know. Whereas, you know, I was listening to reminiscence of a stock operator going to go to sleep actually last night, couldn't sleep, and you know, it's just, you know, that Livermore sensibility of just hitting your hands, man. I mean, you think of it like you're making money by not trading at all.
No, that's how I'm looking at it.
Just watching.
I'm making money by not trading this year, so that's how I'm looking at it. But yeah, no, it's tough, man. You know, it's tough. The psychological side of this shit is the hardest thing there is, and this whole losing streak, winning streak, you know, and you know how it's gonna go. You're doing great, so you upsize, and then you lose, and then you downsize, and then you win, and then you upsize. Like it's just classic, and I went through it for many years, and I can't take that shit no more, man. It's hard enough as it is. I'm trying to not battle myself as much as possible, because you know, this shit is hard enough as it is, and once it's in your head, it makes it 10 times harder. You know, now this is why I've gone straight to process, and that's it. You know, I judge how I do based on how well I followed my process. That's really it.
Yeah, wise words there for discretionary traders.
Yeah, I'm not saying that people can't have an edge doing that. They can. There's a million ways to have an edge out there, but I don't envy people that do that at all.
Yeah, but even through the discretionary edge,
tough life, man. It's a tough life, and you know something. As I get older, through this whole thing, it's like, is it even freaking worth it, man? Because the psychological torture that you're putting yourself through on a day-to-day basis, man. All of a sudden, you turn 50, 60, and you look back, and you're like, shit, was this even worth it, man?
Hey, but I, you know, hold on a second. Let me do a little bit of positive mantras here. You know, what is easy? What is easy? Where you wake up and you do your work, and it's puppy dogs and picnic, and
true,
you're still happy. And by the way, most of those other options don't carry freedom to, you know, wake up when you want, go to bed when you want, take breaks when you want.
Yeah, I hear you, man.
I
understand all that, but I don't. I no longer buy into it. I understand the dream, but I don't buy into it. I really don't buy into it. I tell every single person that tells me they want to be a trader, and they ask me my advice, I say, go to freaking law school. That's what you should do. Go to law school, man. Okay, you have to show up and you have to work, but you know what? At least you're getting paid to do that. You know, you can sit here and do this forever and lose money, right? You sit there and work your hours as a lawyer. You're getting paid, and you're getting paid enough that when you want to take a break, then go ahead, take 2 weeks off and go to the south of France or whatever, because you're making enough money to do that, right? And you know, you say all the psychological freedom, for the most part, not totally, but certainly more than a trader. 5 o'clock comes, you know, you shut it down. You can go home and put it out of your mind. You can't tell me that trading gets out of your mind when the market closes. It doesn't. You're up all fucking night thinking about this, thinking about that, thinking about, you know what I mean? Thinking about
I don't. Yeah. Well, okay. So I go off my desk at 4. Maybe I'll tidy up some loose ends, but 4:30, I am physically off my desk. The odd time, maybe I'm on like a little later to like 6:30. The odd time, and then the odd time I'm up trading. The exchange reopen for us is at 11 p.m. Sundays, right? The odd time. But apart from that, and I learned this from my dad, was that when you're off the desk, you're off the desk. You know, like he worked on oil rigs, and he was physically fucking out there in the middle of the ocean for 2 weeks, and then when he was home, he was done. He was completely disconnected, and because
it's physical work, though. So when he's home, he's done. But this is not physical work. This is 100% mental work, and you can't just shut off your mind. You can't tell me. You can't tell me.
Well, he was doing
more
mental work.
You're not sitting at dinner with your wife and her friends, and you're having like a little dinner and some wine, and you're not freaking thinking about, oh, what's oil going to do tomorrow, and what did I have? Why did I fuck up this trade today, and how could I have done that better? And come on, man, it never goes away. It never.
When I have bad days, sure, it takes me at least an hour to shake it off, maybe 2 hours. But you know, I got kids, man. I can't be carrying that shit around with me off the desk. I have a life to lead. I have a part to play in their life when I'm with them. You know, what do they care? What do I care about these things when I'm off the desk? So I don't know. I honestly don't really care what's going on when I'm off the desk. I don't really. I mean, unless it's like a black swan event or like a tier 1 event that's going to instantly be like 5% up on oil or something. I don't really care.
Okay.
I honestly don't. And I think that's
good. That's important. I find myself not, and I don't even trade like that. It doesn't fucking matter to me if there's a black swan event or what. It doesn't matter. I'm not trading like that. I'm trading my thing, and that's it. And yet,
but that's what I'm going to ask you.
Shit is still on I don't know, man. This is what I do. You know what I mean?
Even if you're flat, and
even if I'm fucking flat, I've been flat all fucking year, and I've been watching these markets. I don't need to be sitting here right now. What am I even sitting here for right now? I should be out fucking, I don't know, having a party. I have no trades on. I have no trades on all year.
You should be.
I should be, but I'm not. So maybe I take it. I don't know, man. I take it very personally. I have this thing where, you know, this is what I do, and I want to be really, really, really fucking good at it.
You are really good at it.
Okay, so I don't know if that's true, but let's say I am. Is that because I'm sitting here despite the fact that I haven't, you know, nothing on? Is that because I have it on my mind?
Yeah.
Even sitting it freaking down. Okay, well then there you go. So then I'm a slave to it. I can tell you, my friend who's a lawyer, okay, who's a divorce lawyer, and it's stressful, and he works his ass off and all that shit. But you know what? Whatever time comes that he's done with his work on the day, he's done, dude. He's done. He's, you know what I mean? He's done. I'm never fucking done. I'm a slave to this shit, and it ain't worth it.
Have you ever put some hours against the time you spend on your desk? So then, like, all right,
I spend more time sitting at this fucking desk than any human being sits at any desk, arguably on the planet.
Well, maybe you should put some hours against when you're on the desk. Because clearly there are like 10 hours a day in a 24-hour cycle that there is nothing happening on these markets. Nothing. The racetrack is always open. The casino is always open.
I know.
It just comes down to what time you choose to walk in and walk out of the doors.
Yeah, you're right. Maybe.
Unless you have your wife
or
there
is observing them as many, even if you're not betting them, observing as many races as possible, going to help you become a better handicapper, even if you're not betting.
I would agree with that. I mean, I've put in a lot of hours of just, you know, watching things as they happen and seeing how the market reacts. Sure, you build up a muscle I think you build a good muscle reflex as to how markets should be expected to move on certain different type of volatility events, Fed speak, blah, 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 blah. Fine. Correct. But I mean, I think that is important. But there comes a point where you have to say, okay, I'm comfortable being off the market because I have a life. I have people in my life that want me there.
I guess I don't have a life. I guess that's the point. And I've set it up so that, look, you're right with the kid thing, but my kids are all grown now, right? But, you know, my whole thing is set up here in my house. Like, this is where my desk is. Connects. It's one big open floor plan in here, right? So this open floor plan is my desk. 5 feet away is our big couch with our TV. That's the living room. And on the one side of that is where my wife hangs out, which is where she does her painting and all that shit. So, like, if I'm going to sit here, okay, occasionally I will sit on the couch because I'll play guitar. You know, I picked up guitar as a way to combat all this. I will play guitar and sit on the couch and do that. But truthfully, a lot of the times I'm sitting right here because I can see my TV from right here. Okay. I can see my wife and talk to my wife and do whatever from right here. And so if I'm going to sit somewhere, I'm not playing guitar, then what the hell? I might as well sit here. It's not, and I'm not justifying it.
I think I need to come over there and get you out of the house. I think that's what's going to happen.
Like, I haven't been, I'll go weeks, man. Like,
that's not good. That is not good, man. That is.
I mean, my even like today, for example, okay, my wife goes to work, all right, and my daughter works, and she doesn't have a car, so she takes my car. So I don't even have a car. Even if I wanted to go out today, I can't even go out.
So get another car.
No, I know, but I'm not going to do that because I'm trying to make a point with my daughter that I'm not buying her a fucking car. You know what I mean? She's got to go to work and save fucking money, you know, just like anybody else. You know what I mean? I'm not buying her. Sure. I just refuse to live that way. I could clearly, you know, I could afford to buy her a car, but I'm not going to because that just ain't how I'm going to play the game of parenting. She's a fucking 23-year-old adult and she should get her shit together and go to work and make some money and buy herself a car. I would help her, you know, at a certain point, maybe give her that down payment or something like that, but I'm not giving her my car just because, you know, so I'm not doing that, you know? So, you know, I'm telling you, I go weeks and the only, this will kill you too, but the only place I'll go for weeks is, you know, to the local 7-Eleven to buy fucking cigarettes. Like that's.
Oh, for God's sakes, man. What is going on?
For a while,
I was to get a flight out there.
For a while, I was buying cigarettes by the carton just so that then I didn't
didn't have to go out.
Yes. But then I decided, you know something, it's a good thing. That's how sick my life is.
You know, you could get them delivered.
Yeah, I know. Look, I'm like, it's a good thing because this way, if I just buy them one pack at a time, I got got to go out. At least I got to get out of the house once a day to go buy fucking cigarettes. At least it gets me out of the house. Like, and that's so. I'm fully aware of how sick that is. Okay.
You need to get out there and get you out of that house, man.
And my answer is, I'll take at least two, not including like little short sort of trips to go see somebody, but at least two big trips. One with my wife and kids, and one with just my wife every year. 3-week trips, right?
That's good. That's nice. Yeah.
And I love it because I do love traveling and I love being on the road and I love seeing new places. So that's kind of how I justify it. And the rest of the time, I do this, man. This is what I do. It's a fucking obsession, and it's sick, and I get it all. But this is what I made a decision my life was going to be. Unfortunately, 30 years ago, and here it is. This was the dream. I want to run a one-man operation. Everybody told me there's no way it could be done. Right? I want to manage a whole bunch of money, and I want to do it out of my house with no employees and clients that I love. And it took me 30 years, and here I am. So what am I going to do now? Now I'm going to change it. This is what I was trying to do. I got to where I was trying to get to, which people said was impossible. I would argue there's not. I don't know if this is a fact, but it would be very difficult to find anybody who runs a one-man operation that manages as much money as I do. Right? There's clearly people that manage more money than I do, but they work inside of a hedge fund and they have a bunch of analysts working for them or whatever it is. I don't have any of that. It would be very hard to find that. So I did something that people told me was impossible to do, and that's wonderful. Now this is the card that I dealt myself. I have a buddy who's
I don't think you need to. Okay, look, do you ever? Well, you have traded.
Listen, I don't need to do any of it. Okay, I could quit now. Okay, I could quit right freaking now and be done. All right,
you can
I don't have an expensive lifestyle. Right, I could quit right now, never have to earn a dollar the rest of my life. Okay.
Yeah, but then what would you do?
That's exactly. So that's exactly right.
You can't do nothing.
Well, that's exactly right. So what am I going to do? Well, what I'm going to do is what I've taken 30 plus years to learn how to do. Right. And I'm not saying I don't enjoy it. I enjoy it, in particular when I have positive returns. But so that's what I'm going to do, and I don't know how to go about doing it the other way. Just kind of half-assing it, and I don't even need to look at the market. Like what? I'm going to look at making a grain trade today when the report comes out at 12 o'clock today. It means I don't even have to look at this fucking shit until 12 o'clock today. Right? I could have wake up at 11:59 and come on this thing and do it. Okay, I could, and I've tried that, but it doesn't work because then what am I doing? Then all I'm doing is wondering what the markets are doing, and I'm looking at what the markets are doing, and my mind's
It takes you 2 seconds to come in, look at the S&P chart, look at some bond charts.
I'm not arguing with you, bro. I know that what you're saying is 100% true. It's just a question of execution, and maybe this is something that I need to maybe work toward. Maybe that would be a good idea. I just know myself, and
no, I'm not here to convince you anything different.
I mean, it's interesting. It's interesting to me that this number came out weak today. Okay, and the first move was that bonds didn't do shit. All right,
now they're heading up here, man.
And now they're heading up. That's interesting to me. That's a learning process for me, right? And it's just a consistent learning process. And that if it were me and I was a discretionary trader and bonds weren't going up on that number, I probably would have been looking to short them. And now they're ripping, and I'd be getting my face ripped off. And I can say to myself, that's A, why I don't do this, and B, that's a lesson learned of why I don't make trades until, to me, the end of the day. Print is the most important print, not what happens in the meantime. Because a lot of times, and it was the same thing in stocks. Stocks should have ripped on that number. They didn't.
You're seeing what
and now they are, right? All this shit should have ripped on the number. It didn't, and now they are. So it baked you out, right? If you were...
What are you shorting the 10-year? You're looking to short the 10-year? Well, you were looking to short the 10-year.
No, I'm not looking to do any of it. But if I was a discretionary trader and that woke up every day with a blank sheet of paper, I probably would have been looking to short the 30-year, post that number when the market couldn't rally on that number. But look at it now. So again, it reinforces and reteaches me the lesson of, which is something I follow now because of all this, right? Which is that the intraday fucking shit doesn't matter, right? It's the close of the day that tells me. Now, if bonds close down on the day, that'd be a different situation, right? But it's the close of the day that tells me what the market is trying to tell me, right?
Bonds are going to rally for the next 2 weeks straight.
Okay,
That's all I can see here from the technicals.
I don't disagree in the lead, right?
We're going up.
I can't disagree with that. Anyway. I can't disagree with that at all. But my point is, the lessons learned are the lessons from sitting here.
I get it. I understand. Putting in a lot of screen time to see how the markets react and seeing how the markets react to the PPI and the CPI. And then news failure. Obviously, if you're looking for news failure, you can't be going for a hike or playing golf or something crazy like that.
Well, you could, because the news failure only happens at the end of the day. So truthfully, you could.
Well, then how many times do you end it just come in at the last couple of hours at the end of the day after a CPI? That's bullshit, man. You've been sitting there from pre-market all the way through to the close.
And then I take a nap, and then I'm right back on it all night. So yeah, look, one day I'm just gonna fucking bag it, man. Okay, and then I won't have to do any of it. But until that day,
I don't know. For me, I like to have the separation, man. I like to have that separation.
I would like to too, and I think that's freaking wonderful. And I wish I could do it. And maybe
I really do. I don't think I've tried. When I started trading the first maybe 2 years, I was like that. I was just in front of the chart, screen time, and reading. I would go to bed and I would wake up reciting paragraphs of books, like technical books or anecdotal books about trading, and I'd be like, I'd be dreaming about trying to make sense of something in a trade. Or the best is where you're really screwed as a trader when you have dreams about trades where you're like, oh my god, I'm balls deep long oil and it's $5 on side. That's when you're really committed to being a trader. But for me, I need that separation of like I get really kind of angry or just kind of pent up energy if I'm in this house for more than 24 hours on a run. I mean, I get cabin.
And that's clearly why you are a much healthier human being than I am, man. I mean, I'm not denying that I'm completely fucking sick. Fuck, okay. But this is the fate I chose. Or maybe it's just my personality. Whatever it is. I have a buddy who is ridiculously rich because of some stuff this business that he inherited. And we're
a real estate buddy.
Yeah, and we're always telling him, like, dude, like, why are you stressing out over this, that, and the other thing? Just be done. And he goes, look, man, this is the hand I was dealt. He's like, I didn't ask for this. You know what I mean? But this is the hand that would have dealt. Well, it's like, oh yeah, well, poor Jay. He dealt the hand. He's worth fucking $1 billion. We're gonna feel real bad for him.
Yeah.
But he doesn't relax, man. The guy doesn't go on fucking vacations. Like once in a while he will, but not really, not to the tune that he could. The guy could have his own private jet and be flying around the world and going wherever the hell he wants, and he does, and he works his ass off. And his answer is, this is the hand I was dealt. I didn't ask this. And now whether that's bullshit or not, I don't know. I watched. What was a really good exercise this week was, I don't know. Do you ever watch The Sopranos?
Yeah.
So they did a Soprano run this week on HBO here, right? Where they did they did an entire season every day. And I always liked The Sopranos. And actually, The Sopranos are filmed and are based in where I was raised, right? Essex County, New Jersey, right? There are some scenes in The Sopranos from my hometown and all that. But I watched the whole thing, and it was really good because with Tony Soprano, you see all of his mental deficiencies, right? And you see his denial of his mental deficiencies, and you see what's coming because of all these psychological deficiencies he has. And so I was able to look at that and be like, man, that's me a lot too, and I'm sure it's all of us, but that's me a lot too. So maybe I should be able to improve upon that, but I don't know the answer, man. I just do what I do. I'm not miserable doing it. I like what I do, and
that's all that matters, for all the talk back and forth, you're not in the house, you're in the house. It doesn't matter. If you love it, well, you just keep trucking, man.
That's it. That's why I'm here. If I didn't, then I wouldn't, because fortunately the last 10 years certainly have provided me with the money that
it doesn't matter what you do, though. I don't know. It doesn't matter what you do. If it's mucking out horse stables, if it's fucking farming the fields, if it's sweeping the streets, it doesn't matter. If you love it, keep doing it. So
that's right. And I'm not a big I'm not a big go out person. I don't like going out to restaurants. I don't really like these things. I'm not a big social person, but I feel lucky that I have a wife that I'm madly in love with and I love to be with. So she comes home and I spend time with her. So I do this. I spend time with her, and that's it. That's really all I need.
Right. So, I know a lot of people, man, who like dentists, for example. Oh, they'd be making serious bang, but they're looking inside of people's mouths. And I've spoken to someone, they're just like, fucking hate my job. Sometimes they feel like, they've said to me, sometimes they feel like a butcher. They're just looking inside
it's a fact.
So
it's a fact. So on the other side of all this negative talk, yes, on the other side of all this negative talk is that whole idea. I talk about be a lawyer. I talk about my friend, what's actually my brother, the divorce lawyer. Okay, you know what? He fucking hates it. He hates his job. Every day he's doing what he fucking hates. I don't have to do that. So that's the good side of it, right? And maybe that's why I'm so manic about the whole thing, because I don't have to do that. And so I'm lucky. So I'm sitting here.
The grass is always greener on the other side, man.
That's exactly right. So there it is.
Always.
There there it is. I do my thing, and what do we got? 10 o'clock here.
Kashkari is talking right now.
I love to watch this shit, this intraday moves, even though I don't trade them, right? It's extremely fascinating to me, man, that now the NASDAQ is starting to lag the market.
Yeah,
the
Dow is actually, if you look at the Dow in a daily range, it's just stuck in a sideways daily range. It's just hit up that range and rejected down now. So it's like, I mean, is it going to break out the bottom of that range? I think it probably will, but yeah, see if there's any comments out of Kashkari here. This is probably, for the intraday traders. I think Kashkari talking here is going to be a nice bit of volatility. This 10-year is going to rip a face, man.
I don't doubt it. You're the one that was telling me you want to short it. I'm the one telling you not to.
No, I want to short the yield on it and buy the price.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I want to short the yield on the 10. So that means I'm long the price.
Oh, I thought you wanted to go the other way. Okay, good. Yeah,
no. The price will go up. The
that
yield
is without
will
a doubt. I think that without a doubt is the balls trade here. Nobody wants to put that trade on here, man. I think that's the balls. I think that is absolutely the balls trade here.
That's the trade, man. No, like short the 10-year yield, and then I want to hedge on that. And I don't know if the 2-year yield is what the 2-year yield is gonna do. It's probably gonna stay flat. So therefore, the 2-year is probably a really shit hedge. So I don't know what I would use as my hedge on that. I don't think I want to be naked outright long the 10-year.
Tough one.
Yeah, and then then I'd be
30-year, right? There's nothing else.
Then I'd be
the 2-year or whatever,
I could use a 5-year. This is 7-year.
You're gonna trade the 10-7 spread?
No. I was gonna call a bond trader mate of mine.
Oil at that point.
Yeah. So
do something.
I don't know. Maybe I should just take it outright. But then if I'm taking it outright, I need to be trading probably a 12-month forward. So I need to be trading like the H25 contract.
I feel like if you're getting along the 10, you could hedge it with a currency. You could hedge it even with a metal, with the metals. You could even hedge it with stock, right?
Okay, so now we're talking. So all right. So what am I doing? Short and gold against the long 10-year?
Yes.
I think that's a little too tightly correlated. I might not end up making that much. I think I make money, but not as much as I'd like to.
Well, anything that has a hedge, right?
Yeah, but then I'm short gold, man. I don't think I want to be short gold.
Well, you never want to have the hedge on, right? I mean, you got to make the choice, right?
That's true.
I think you do want to be short gold, personally. Look at how that trade has done, by the way.
What, short gold?
Relative
right now.
Relative to 10 years? Go back to December.
Yeah, that's true.
Go back to December 1st.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
10 years are up.
That's true.
4.5 points since December 1st. Gold is flat.
So then the spread there is the real yield, gold to the real yield. That's your correlated asset for gold,
right.
Or inverse correlation to gold is the real yield.
Which brings us right back to that original argument about real yields, right?
Okay, now the gold hedge is looking good, actually. Because it could run, but not that much.
You can be short stocks versus long 10 years too, if you wanted to be.
You're saying the real yield could only drop like another 0.25%, is that right? Or sorry, what were we saying about?
Saying the real yield could drop 125 basis points, just if inflation stays where it is here.
Yeah, but if inflation reaccelerates, I get fucking run over.
Well, clearly that's the bet. I mean, if you're going to bet bonds, that's the bet, right? There it is in a nutshell. Is inflation going to go up or down? If you could tell me that, then I could clearly tell you what you should do. Right?
Yeah, maybe I'll just
which still wouldn't necessarily mean it would work, but I could tell you what you theoretically should do if you could tell me what inflation was going to do, right?
Yeah. What do you think of this 1970s overlay? Have you looked at that on inflation, the 1970s overlay?
Yeah, I've seen it. I don't really. I personally think this whole inflation thing was due to COVID. The COVID is over now. The inflation is gone, and I don't think that the Fed has anything to fucking do with it. I don't think that the raising rates is what stopped inflation at all. That's personally what I think. I have no way to prove it. There's no way to prove one way or the other. But I think inflation came because COVID shut everything down. The whole distribution chain broke down, and that caused inflation. And when the distribution chain got back up and running, inflation went back down. That's personally what I think. And the Fed knows that. He's actually said it before. I've heard him actually say that. We don't even know.
He also said it was transitory.
Well, it was transitory, wasn't it?
Yeah, in the time frame of like 3 years.
Okay, 18 months.
32.
All I'm saying is even he's admitted that maybe the Fed policy might have nothing to do with it. So my boy Milton Friedman said inflation is always and only a monetary event. So therefore, money supply thing, I guess. And they can control it that way. But I don't know. I don't know enough about what the fuck they want. I don't know enough about. I don't know, man. It's all.
Yeah, it's above my pay grade, as you say.
Me too. It's all just fucking mental masturbation, man.
I'm a simple guy.
You know,
I'm a simple guy, really, to be honest.
I can't make any money off any of it. So I don't really freaking care. You know, I can sit here and talk about it and hey, whatever. Be the guy at the party that people want to talk to about this shit, but it doesn't. I don't go to the party anyway, so it's not even worth. It all makes it great.
If the party can't start without you being there, it's not worth going to.
Yeah, I always say anybody who wants me at the party is not a party I would want to go to without Joe Mark saying, right?
Oh yeah.
Any club that'll have me, I don't want to be a member of.
That's right.
One moron I know once said that about he was marrying some girl, so his second wife or whatever, and he's telling me about it. He's like, yeah, you know, and she gets invited to all the right parties. I'm like, well, if I ain't there, it ain't the right fucking party, bro. So I don't know what you're talking about. You get invited to the right party if I'm not there, which is the opposite of what I just said. But anyway, that's all I got to say, man.
Yeah.
That's all I got to say, as always. I don't freaking know, but I'm going to try to make money anyway.
Me too.
I don't know the answer.
Oil.
I don't know the answer, but I don't believe that anybody knows the answer. And I think that the people who claim they know the answer are fades. And when the market starts to prove those people wrong, I'm going to go with the market and against them. That's all I know. That's all I know how to fucking do, man. All I know how to freaking do. And it's knock wood work for me to this point. So I'm just going to keep on doing that. I keep on monitoring what these people think and keep on monitoring the market so that when the market is going against what these people think, I'm going to go with the market and against them. That's it.
Gotta stay fluid, man. Gotta stay fluid. I don't even, to be honest, I don't really even have an opinion. Most days I come in, I'm just like, well, the market's going to show me what it wants to do.
Yes.
And
that's why you're still alive.
That's why I hate these big old conversations about, you know, are we going to cut 7 times this year? Are we not? Who the fuck knows? I mean, the market's saying that's what's going to happen. But okay, fine. You know, even if I knew the answer, I probably sound like a broken record on this, but like, even if I knew the answer to that, okay, fine. How are you going to make money, Tim?
Exactly.
I don't know.
Exactly.
So all I can do is like look at the chart and say, hey, this thing looks like it wants to pop, or it looks like it wants to drop. And you know, is it in a weak area? Is it in a strong area? Well, if it's in a strong area and I'm looking for a drop, no trade. And it's, you know, my edge is obviously a lot more specific and refined than that, but that's kind of the guts of it.
Look, man, you know that's all I ever fucking say, right? I say 2 things: don't trade fade, and I say stop fucking thinking and just make money. Stop trying to be right, okay? Yeah. Just fucking make money, man. That's it. Money is not the be all and everything in the world, but in this particular world of trading, that's all there is, right? That's all it is. You know, you want to be right, go fucking on TV, be an analyst, you know?
Yeah, analysts don't
you want to be a trader, man, stop trying to fucking be right and just freaking make money. That's it. Be wrong. My favorite, be wrong, make money.
My best trading mentor I ever had, crazy Aussie bond trader, and I ended up trading a little bit with him, and he was just like, stop fucking thinking. Like almost every day we'd have a prep call and he'd just be like, just stop thinking. You're too smart. Just stop thinking about it. Just stop thinking about that. Just fucking trade.
That's it, man.
And I'm like, all right, but then I'm thinking about him telling me to stop thinking, and I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? I'm like, what does that mean? Stop thinking. I just start shooting bullets in the market, and it took me like probably a year to realize what he meant by that.
Well, that's a lot faster than most people. Most people never get over that
because they need to know. They always need to know. So because
I love like some of the comments I get on my Twitter thing, man. I love it. I love it. I just fucking love it. You know, I'll just put, I put pretty I put pretty general stuff on there. I won't say, hey, the market's going to crash here because of this. I'll just say, hey, take a look at this. It's worth looking at, right? That's all I'll say. It's worth looking at. And people will come on there and just start commenting about what's going to happen with such a definitive tone in their mind, you know? Oh, the fucking world's coming to an end. You got to be fucking short. Oh, all the conspiracy theorists. Oh, you know, as soon as the whatever, Biden or blah, 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 blah.
Dollar is going to zero.
The whole thing.
The bricks,
I just laugh. I'm like, I just laugh, dude. I'm like, you guys are here to you're here to make a point, right? And you're making the wrong point. You know what I mean? I'm here to make a point too. The point being Jason Shapiro can over time make money in the market. That's the only fucking point I'm trying to make, man. And I hope I get that one right? Other than that, I don't give a shit. And look, it's difficult. Like I said, I have a brother who's a lawyer. Lawyers love to make a point, right? So you can imagine the conversations between, and my brother's wife is a lawyer too. You can imagine the conversations between me and them. They're sitting there trying to make their points, and I'm sitting here telling them, your fucking point doesn't mean jack shit, and neither does freaking mine, okay? Who cares what you think, and who cares what I fucking think, right? And then it completely doesn't compute at all. What do you mean, who cares? I care. I'm like, okay, well, then talk to somebody else who cares, because I don't fucking care. And I'm not going to give you my opinion, because I don't care about my opinion either, man. Who gives a shit?
Yeah, Yeah, but that's been, as a trader, you have to be stoic. You have to be, for me anyway, that's my point of view. You just have to be stoic of like, well, you're just sitting in the river and the river's flowing along. You're gonna, for me, I couldn't fucking sleep at night if I was having all these fucking big views about what the economy's going to do, what the dollar's going to do, what oil's going to do. I just pick it up when I sit down at this desk. I pick all that up. I park it somewhere really quiet in my head that I don't really, think about that much. And then I just watch what's happening. And then my edge just tells me, okay, well, this looks cheap. This looks expensive. This is way too cheap. This is way too expensive.
That's why you're still sitting in the desk, brother.
You got to be stoic, man. It's just got to go with the river. Everything is what it is, and it doesn't really matter why.
Be water.
Be water, just like
I think
Bruce
that's
Lee,
a great line, what you just said. Everything is what it is, and it doesn't really matter why.
Yeah,
that's exactly it, man. Exactly.
That's printed on my tombstone.
Yeah, mine too, which probably ain't too far away from the printing.
God, man, you're almost as bad as my mother when it comes to all this depressive talk bullshit. I'm telling you what, man. Would people say you're a born worrier? Are you one of those types?
A what?
A born worrier. You worry about a lot of stuff happening. I wouldn't take you for that.
I don't really think I worry about a lot of stuff happening. No, I worry a lot about my family, and but that's normal. I'm not sitting here.
It's normal stuff. Yeah.
I'm not sitting here worrying that the Houthis are going to blow up the Tooties and the world.
What about the blowfish? That's what I want to know. What are they going to do?
There's going to be a nuclear war, and we're all going to fucking die, and you know what I mean. Like I don't sit here worrying about any of that shit anymore. I'm too fucking old to worry about any of that shit anymore. Anyway, I don't even fucking care, man. You know what? I think death is underrated. That's my new line, because something, when you die, there's nothing left to worry about anymore, man.
This is the Buddhist coming out in you. Your Buddhist training, man.
I'm just saying, there's nothing left to worry about. So you're gonna be scared of death, man.
How about you look at it like this? While you're alive, there's nothing to fucking worry about either.
That's true. Now you're talking.
Why do you have to wait to die to accept that as an idea?
No, you're absolutely.
I'm gonna wait until I die to think, yeah, now there's nothing to worry about.
Well,
why don't you just live like that?
You're right, but people, most people, they have a lot of things to worry about, man. They got to make bills. You got to, you got to pay the bills, man. It's not fucking easy out there.
All right. Well, you tell me.
I was just talking to a guy yesterday. If you live in America right now. Let's say you live in America.
Hold on. Before you go into this, you tell me. All right, say you're worried about your daughter is or isn't going to save up and buy a car. Okay, take that, right? You tell me exactly how much worrying about that is going to solve that problem.
Oh, I don't do any worrying about it.
Okay, well, you're maybe not a good example, but what I'm trying to get across is there is no amount of worrying that changes a fucking thing.
Well, it could be a process that people need to go through. They need to go through the worrying process so that then they can go through the process of getting some
taking action.
Action
changes things.
Worrying, right, but maybe you need to go through the process of worrying first before you take the action. I don't know. I'm making it up, but I agree with
the fire on your feet is what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe they need to do that. I don't know. I don't spend a lot of time worrying, man. And look, it's because, and I did before, the last 10 years have been kind to me financially, right? So what year is it? 2023? So maybe the last 2024. So the last 15 years have been kind to me, right? So at least financially. So I don't have to really do a lot of worrying when it comes to that. And at the end of the day, you can say what you fucking want. And look, there's sickness, and all the money in the world doesn't help if someone you love is sick, all the money in the world ain't going to freaking help that. But outside of that, I have to believe 95% of the worrying people do is financially, because I had been there. I was there, man. Okay. I was fucking poor as shit. And it's extremely stressful to not have money. And
man, I talked to my guys in the room about this before, but I've had times where, I've been fucking broke, and I think there came a moment where I didn't even have bus fare to get back to my apartment, and I didn't even have the next month's rent, and it was at that point where I was in my mother's kitchen, and she'd gone, so I couldn't even ask her for fucking bus fare. This is a long time ago, but it was literally within the space of 15 to 30 minutes, I had this enormous sense of, quickly from dread went to fear, went to panic, went to, well, fuck, what can I do? And before I did anything else, I was just sitting there thinking to myself, you know what? This worrying about money has created too much of a focus on where things are going wrong, and this victim mentality. And I just thought, well, what am I going to do about it? And what can I do about it? And so
clearly, that's the way to handle it. Not everybody can do that, though. You know what I mean? Not everybody is as strong or as smart or as
I totally escaped that.
You know, and also the fact that, you know, that happened to you. But what happened if that's the position you were in and you had kids? It's one thing, you're a single fucking guy. You can't afford bus fare. Okay, who gives a shit? Go sleep on the fucking street. Who cares, right? Go sleep in your mom's basement, whatever, right? But what about when you have kids and you're, you know,
sure.
It's hard, man. It's hard. It's hard, very hard. And I'm telling you, I was just talking to a guy last night. He's got one kid in college, okay? He makes $300,000 a year. And he can barely make fucking ends meet, man.
Wow, he's geared too high, man. He's living too high on the
Geared too high. You're making $300,000 a year. By the time you pay your federal and state taxes and all that shit, that $300,000 is about $160,000. He's got a kid in college. He doesn't get any aid for college because $300,000 a year doesn't qualify. So he's got a kid in college. Well, there's $75,000 down the tubes right there. So now he's got $75,000 left. Let's call it $80,000 left. $80,000. Okay, that's what, $6,000 a month.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you've got to pay rent/mortgage. You got to pay for your car payment, and you got to pay.
No, you don't have to pay for the car payment. You just buy a car outright.
Okay, somewhere.
Don't buy a banger. Don't forget the car payment. You know that's the most expensive money you can borrow.
No, I don't.
You know, he doesn't need
whatever.
the car
All I'm
payment.
saying is $6,000 a month, dude. It's really not a lot of money.
No one's coming crying making $6,000 a month.
He's making much more than $6,000 a month.
No, but if
that's what he has for rent or mortgage, and look, rates just went up, so people's mortgage rates are going up, right?
He's geared too high, man. If he's tight on it, he's geared too high.
I mean, I don't disagree, but you know, all I'm saying is you'd like to think at $300,000 a year, which is a pretty damn good living relative to.
I hear you though.
You'd like to think you could at least breathe and put some savings away or go on a vacation and
he could. He needs to stop the car payment.
A $400 car payment's going to change his life.
Well, it's going to make him $400 richer every month.
I hear you. All I'm trying to say is it's fucking hard out there.
If he's not interested in the 400 savings a month, I'll tell you what, I'll get him a car and I'll take the 400.
Yeah, I hear you. All I'm trying to say is it's tough out there, man. So people,
it's tough out there. I have a friend. He's very high paid tax,
and that's a guy. That's a $300,000 a year guy, by the way. Okay, and that's most people do not make that kind of money.
I know someone here that making $250,000 a year, and they're pretty tight. They're pretty tight month to month. But you know what? No one's crying for him because he's living in a pimping house. Him and his wife driving pimping cars. His kids go to the best schools. They have great holidays. But at the end of the month, he's any little hiccup and he's pretty fucked. But he's geared too high.
Yeah.
You know, he's geared way too high.
Right. What's that word? Piffin?
Pimping.
What was that word you used? He's living in a what house and he's driving a what car?
Pimping. He's living in a pimping house.
Pimping. Okay. Pimping.
No one's got tears for someone who's got disposable income of, $5,000 a month disposable.
Well, that wasn't disposable. The one number I gave you, that was pre-housing.
Okay. Well, then maybe
he's
got
free food and free whatever,
Well, it probably brings it down to like 2. Yeah, I hear you. I understand. But welcome to the party.
No,
Bruce Willis says, "Welcome to the party."
No, look, I'm the last fucking one that anybody should be talking about this to, okay? Because I don't spend any fucking money, okay? And now I'm at the point where I could, right?
Yeah.
So they're crying to the wrong fucking person, personally, because first of all, I came from broke. I got a little lucky in certain turns in my life, and now I'm not broke. But I haven't changed my I've changed since I was completely fucking broke. But I haven't changed anything. I really haven't changed my spending habits at all. Look, my shirt has fucking holes in it, dude. Like literally, this shirt has holes in it. Okay.
I saw.
I don't. You know what I mean? So I'm the last person that's gonna cry for these people because I don't.
I hear you.
I don't do any of that shit. Okay. My house costs a lot less than most people's houses that make a lot less money than me. I don't even have a fucking car because I refuse to buy a car for my dad. You know what I mean? The whole thing. Like I'm the cheapest freaking bastard in the world. Now I'll go and I'll take very nice vacations and I'll spend money on vacations. But if I didn't have the money, I wouldn't do that. You know what I mean? So so I'm the last one that cries for these freaking people. And I say exactly what you tell them, man. You know what I mean? You're spending too much freaking money, dude. You're trying to live a life that you can't afford to fucking live, and therefore you're getting
Yeah.
That's why you're at where you're at. You want to drive the fucking whatever car, then, I don't drive
car
that
debt,
car. I
man.
can drive whatever fucking car I want, man. I can go out right fucking out and buy myself a freaking Maserati, whatever the hell, you know what I mean? Even when I do have a car, I drive I'm driving a Toyota, dude. You know what I mean? Like, so.
Your friend should get off those payments and just buy a 10-year-old Toyota, and there you go, bam, 400.
Listen,
bucks
3 years ago, before I bought this car, I was driving a 22-year-old Toyota that I bought for $1,500 from my friend who was a mechanic. That's what I drove for 3 years, and the thing went, rusted out, so I had to get another car. So
I read this book called The Millionaire Next Door. Have you ever read that?
Yeah.
I think it's called The Millionaire Next Door.
Yes, it is.
And like the average age of a millionaire's car is like 10 years old.
That book had a pretty big effect on me. But it's a combination of a lot of things. It's that kind of book and that kind of thinking. Sam Walton, drove a 20-year-old pickup truck. You know what I mean? That kind of thinking had a lot of effect on me, and also the whole Buddhist thinking had a lot of effect on me. But you have to have the ability of not caring what people think, and that's not an easy thing for many people to do. And I can't say I never ever care about what anybody thinks, but I do spend a lot of time trying not to care about what everybody thinks. I could care less what people think about the car I drive or the house I live in or the clothes I wear. I could care freaking less, man. And so when I go out, people think I'm a bum, dude.
That's sort of, yeah, but like the other side of it is just this like psychology that feeds the debt cycle. That, I mean, if people didn't want to keep up with the Joneses, half the consumer discretionary or half the consumer cyclical fucking stocks would be fucking flat, man.
Listen, if people lived like I live, 90% of the consumer stocks would be dead, dude. Because I'm telling you, I don't buy shit. I can't even think of the last thing I bought. I did buy a new printer because my printer broke. I think I spent $75 on my new printer. That was my big expense. Although, like Christmas time, I did wear my new
austerity mindset.
Christmas time, we bought these sweaters when we were in Norway. We went to Norway last year, me and my wife. And
you bought those big ass colorful with the buttons and shit.
No, not those. But we bought like some nice sweaters, right? I think I spent I might have spent $300 on that fucking sweater, and I wore it for the first time at Christmas. And I was like, my daughter was like, "That's got to be the most expensive thing that you have in your entire closet." And I was like, "There's no question about it that it is." So in fairness, I do buy things once in a while, but literally not very, very much. So, and everybody doesn't have to live like me, but it's like you say, live like you, but then don't come and bitch, right? I don't need to hear it, right? You do what you do, man. But if that's how you're gonna live, then you have no right to fucking bitch.
I hear you. I think this is gonna be maybe the first episode of our podcast.
Certainly a long one.
Yeah, I think Jason and I have been talking about getting a podcast out there, and I don't know what we'll call it though, but we'll get it out there. I think just need to find the time to get it up.
Just call it Two Assholes.
Yeah, maybe. That's probably already taken. I'm not messing, but it's probably already taken.
Two trading fools. How about that?
I got to work on it.
Trading fool.
This oil pullback is going deep here. I pull back to 100 EMA here, guys. 73.07. PVH coming in here. 73.27.
Jesus, the crude can't trades like shit, dude.
No, it's about to pick up some buyers any minute here.
What has to happen for this shit to actually go up? The world has already gone into war, like in the middle of the Middle East, no less.
It's North American production is up in the face of these Saudi cuts, so that's why we're not going ape shit to the upside.
That makes sense.
But no, I don't think it's going to last long. I think the next time we're talking, we'll be at 80 and actually above. That's the way we're positioning here. All right, let's put a pin in it there, man.
All right, man. Another deep conversation here.
I am, yeah. Going to get you out of that house before the summer gets here. I don't know how.
I think the lesson in all this is that you've got two people here. Now we're both white, okay? But other than that, different countries, different backgrounds, different religion, different everything, right? And yet there are themes across that are the same. I think that's the lesson. If I was sitting here talking to another freaking Jew from Jersey, you would expect us to have similar attitudes towards these things, right? But I think that is very interesting to me.
Yeah.
We know each other less than a year, right?
Yeah.
I think that's interesting.
I don't know, like
of all this, the individual things that we say or talk about, to me, it is what it is. But I think the interesting part is that we live in completely different countries and come from completely different different backgrounds, and yet there can be themes across these things that everybody can agree with.
I think what it is that like trading can make you fucking jaded, and then there comes a point where you're like, am I going to sink or am I going to swim?
No,
and
that's
go,
right.
And then you kind of go, well, fucking everything that's hard work is going to make me fucking jaded. So what am I going to pick that I'm going to?
I think trading in particular, I think trading in particular gives you a certain type of attitude of exactly what you said. Like, look, man, don't come fucking crying to me. I don't want to hear your fucking problem, okay? Because it goes right back to what I said about the lawyers, right? You might hate being a lawyer, but at least at the end of the freaking day, if you work for 10 hours, you're getting paid your X number of hours, right? I can sit here and work for 30 fucking hours and lose money, right? So don't fucking, you're lying. Don't fucking come crying to me, man. I don't want to freaking hear it, right? Because, you know what I mean? So
exactly.
I think that's right. That being a trader kind of gives you that type of jaded attitude because of that, because we don't get paid,
by the hour. No, I wish we did.
We only eat what we kill,
That's exactly.
So it's like you said, don't come crying to me, man. Get off your fucking ass and figure out how to make things better. That's all there is. So yeah, I think that the trader life gives you that kind of sort of cold-hearted attitude, and that's why my wife is such a good balance for me, because she is such a kind soul. You know what I mean? That she balances that attitude. Like, she has a sister who I just don't get along with at all, and she does all the dumbest things that we talk about. Runs up credit card debt, buys all this shit when she doesn't have the money to do it. You know what I mean? And I'm like, well, that's her fucking fault. And my wife's always like, it's not a question of it's her fault. I recognize it's her fault, but that doesn't mean that I don't have sympathy for her. You know what I mean? She's got issues. She's got issues. It's obvious. The whole thing is obvious. She's filling the holes in her life by being a consumer and buying shit. Okay, it's obvious, right? And my answer is, well, then go fucking get better. Go get better. But my wife is like, not everybody has the strength to do that. So, sympathy is
the whole world is sick with consumerism too. Well, yeah, I mean, this is a way bigger conversation. Maybe we'll pick this up on the next one.
Next time. All right, man. Go make some money.
Stay long oil.
Stop fucking bitching at me and go make some money.
I'm trying to. I'm fucking managing these positions as we're talking.
All right, good. All right.
I'll talk to you later, man.
Have a good one. Let me know about the podcast.
Yeah. All right. We'll do. Take care. Cheers.